You are now listening to WSN Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
It's a brand new season and the end of an era for sports out of pocket.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
We bring you the craziest controversies.
Really, in hindsight, could have injured Mookie Betts. To me, that deserves a lifetime ban.
Fire me up.
NBA Finals. Let me know. I think it's going to be the Nuggets and the Celtics this year.
I hate to say it, but Steven, you took the words out of my mouth.
And the final Twin Picks.
That's not a debate. That's not a debate. There's always a debate. There's always a debate. You can't debate Lamar Jackson.
And interviews you don't want to miss.
This is the Philly Sports Guy, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York.
The final ride starts now.
Let's go!
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sports Out of Pocket and a special Super Bowl reaction episode of Sports Out of Pocket. Well, we were all wrong. We all thought that the Chiefs were going to three-peat this past weekend, but obviously that did not happen. The Eagles came into New Orleans and they took care of business. And listen, guys, I know this isn't Florida State. I know we usually do this thing for Florida State, but just in case everybody wanted to know what happened to the Chiefs this past Sunday.
They are choking. They are choking.
Big win. Tom Force does it better.
Yeah, so my name is Stephen Lambert. I'm going to be your host for tonight, and I am joined by the most beautiful crew that I could do a sports show with.
Steven.
We have Andrew, Chase, and the man behind the board, Mr. Jackson. And before we get into the show, how's everybody doing?
Post Super Bowl, I know Jackson's feeling a little bit more, preppy than we are because
100%.
even though he got who picks against his team in the Super Bowl?
I know.
Can we talk about that? If you go look at
Real
the
fan.
World Sports Network post on Instagram, follow us please. We all posted our predictions on there, and he had the Chiefs winning, which personally I wouldn't take that if the Falcons were in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm going Dirty Birds all the way, even if it is biased. But so that was a little crazy to me. But matter of fact is we all got it wrong, and we didn't just get it wrong. I mean, our predictions got tossed out the window. Eaten by grizzly bear, like the most it was bad. It was rough.
Hey.
That's how I felt about Super Bowl. I was just pissed off about how lopsided it was. Because let's think about it. The Chiefs had history on the line, and the Eagles were seeking revenge. So you think two three-headed monsters going at it for different ends of the spectrum, whether it's history or revenge, would cause one of the greatest clashes of all time. But it was horrible.
Someone posed a question before the game started. They said the Eagles 100% have the better roster, but do the Chiefs have the better team? It's like, that's a really good question. Patrick Mahomes has been playing with this sort of similar group of guys basically his whole career. They must be the better team due to chemistry, but that just showed that the Eagles roster, especially on the defensive side, just completely outweigh the Chiefs. But thank the Lord,
real quick,
for Kendrick Lamar for doing that halftime performance. Because if that halftime show was bad, the whole Super Bowl would have been awful.
Before we get into this controversy segment, I just want to give my little piece on. I'm not going to get too
just
excited.
A minor piece, right? Just a minor piece.
Minor piece.
I'm going to give a little piece on my thoughts on the Super Bowl. Honestly, loved it, and I will be honest. I will be honest. I did think the Chiefs were going to win 32-29. I thought it was going to be a close game. But honestly, the best part of that Super Bowl, outside of Jalen Hurts hoisting the Lombardi trophy at the end, wasn't for Kendrick. It was for SZA, bro.
No.
SZA, I wish SZA had more parts, bro.
That was so crazy.
Honestly, I wish SZA had more parts.
We're going to get into that later because I want to talk about another thing. Apparently, a lot of people thought she was lip-syncing that entire concert.
That's
Dude,
for controversy, right?
they sounded natural vocals to me, and I thought they both did fantastic. I thought that was an incredible halftime
Samuel
show.
L. Jackson up there.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Everything was
awesome.
fantastic. I mean, we're going to get all into that because it's time for Out of Pocket, baby.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We're in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversies.
And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if it gets more controversial than a Kendrick Lamar halftime show because look, I don't think there's any controversy in this room. We all enjoyed that halftime show. I thought it was fantastic. I thought Kendrick really brought it. I thought the stage was incredible. I thought Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam was amazing. I was enjoying the music, and I didn't think he was going to play Not Like Us, but guess what? He did. He played Not Like Us on the halftime show in front of a stadium that was packed, and they all chanted. We all know what they chanted. We all know. And I thought that's what was going to happen, and that's exactly what did happen. And I feel bad for Drake.
Do you want to
Can't
know?
lie to you, baby, ladies and gentlemen. I feel horrible for Drake.
So when they played Not Like Us, if y'all are not familiar with the rapper Tyga is signed under Drake's label, and there was a video of him like
reacting
his
to
head.
it and just like going wow to the stadium. He couldn't believe the amount of volume that there was. But there was also something else that happened in the halftime show that got a lot of people's eyes tuning in. Andrew, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so what he's alluding to is aside from all the minor other controversies that were going on during the performance, one thing that really stood out was Serena Williams made a surprise appearance during the Super Bowl set, and she wore a blue pleated skirt with, the thing that drew people mad was that she performed the Crip Walk. Now, that drew people mad for a very specific reason. It was a dance that's associated with the LA street culture. For those who don't know, Serena Williams' sister was murdered years ago by the people who run the LA street culture, and she did the Crip Walk during one of her tennis tournament. So people were already kind of like disgusted at her, like, why are you doing the Crip Walk when that's associated to your sister's murder? Like, that just seemed a little all out of sorts. But the moment went viral. Some fans were all about it, while others criticized. Now, Jason Whitlock's take, for those who don't know Jason Whitlock, he compared Serena's dance to cracking a tasteless X-rated joke inside a church. That is a very, brutal way to point that performance.
Wait, say that again?
This is how he described it: cracking a tasteless X-rated joke inside a church. And basically what he means by that
all right. No, yeah.
So Stephen A. Smith even said that if I was her husband, he'd divorce her for trolling an ex. Now, because why are you in a committed married relationship participating in your ex-boyfriend's troll Super Bowl halftime show?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I don't know the history when it comes to Drake and Serena's relationship because I have a life. I'm just kidding. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Drake in one of his songs dissed Serena's husband in one of his songs, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm throwing it out there, but I think that was something that people were talking about. It's just listen, I mean, Drake was throwing shots at Serena's husband, so I mean, Serena has every right to just go on television, and also that was a meme. Is that when the Not Like Us song was going on, they showed a clip of Serena doing the same type of dance, but it wasn't to that song, obviously. Right. This was back in 2012, and she was a part of the French Open or whatever.
I think that's what Andrew's alluding to.
Is the fact that that's the reason that she was a part of this concert. It wasn't because of her trying to get back at Drake or some type of ill intent to diss him. I think she was just there because Kendrick asked, and she showed up and had fun.
I mean, look, listen, knowing Drake, what he was probably doing during that performance was laying in his bed, posting some video on Twitter.
I actually heard that he was out in another country doing.
That was a joke, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I think it went over your head. It's okay.
Sorry, I didn't grab
Jackson
that one.
got it.
I got it.
Okay. Thank you, Jackson.
But yeah, so I don't know how you guys felt about it, but to me it seemed a little over excessive. There was no reason. Serena had no reason being there. The Super Bowl halftime performance would have stood on its own 2 feet without Serena Williams, and it just seems all kind of contradictory.
No, honestly,
it's
Jackson.
Yeah, I would have to personally side with Steven. I think that Kendrick just invited her there, and that she was just there.
Yeah, and listen,
I don't think it had to do.
It did.
Oh, this is
Kendrick Lamar.
Definitely did.
Kendrick Lamar has had the deepest beef with Drake. He used his halftime performance to take his final blow at Drake, and it wasn't just with his playing Not Like Us. It was not just a choreography or everything. It was getting Serena Williams, one of Drake's ex that Drake has one of the most beef with, knowing Serena hates his guts as well. He did that 100% knowing Drake would see it. That was his only intent. It was all ill intent. 1,000% Kendrick Lamar knew exactly what he was doing. That whole halftime show was his final blow at Drake.
No, I disagree with that. It wasn't the whole halftime show. It was just the last song.
He wanted to use the halftime show. Yeah, you're right. Not the whole one.
Yeah, because like there was a whole other message of what the concert was. First off, if the whole show was just about getting back at Drake, you wouldn't have Samuel Jackson
as Uncle Sam.
I didn't mean the whole show. I didn't mean, but he was using his platform to do that.
It's his message on what he thinks the country's heading into. It's a whole political statement also with the concert that he did. I like I said, man, like I thought the GNX album was great, and he had a lot of songs off of the GNX that he performed at the halftime show.
I was very pleased about that.
I just loved it. It was an incredible time for me, and it was the best time because the game sucked.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love that game.
Of course, yeah.
Well,
whatever.
after the first play, honestly, I thought we were gonna get screwed over. I'm like, oh, it's over, dude.
I mean,
on a good pass interference call,
on a rough,
on a
PI,
good call,
that was not enough to call PI, bro.
You can't grab a safety's face mask when you're trying to get open for a
Jackson.
pass.
If we were on the,
I've seen a lot of worse calls.
If we were on the,
it is pass interference.
If we were
that's roughly,
Jackson, if we were on the football field together and I grabbed your face mask before the ball came in play, you'd be crying for a foul.
No, I wouldn't.
No, me? No.
Shall we take you back to the Falcons game? Shall we take you back? All right, twins, let's get debating.
Two brothers,
Same birthday.
completely different takes.
Oh, boy! Yes!
It's time for Twin Picks.
Now for the final first twin picks of the season, we have Andrew Jefferson and Chase Jefferson. Andrew is
Gross.
up currently. Okay. Andrew is up currently 2-1 in this whole twin pick series. Steven.
So before we get into the topic that you guys, because we're going to do something a little different this season, these guys have no idea what the topic is going to be. Me and Jackson have decided on a topic for you guys to debate, and then we're going to flip a coin, and whoever, Andrew, you're going to call it because you're up 2-1. You're going to call it up in the air, and if whoever gets it right gets the first pick of who they have to debate. So it's great. Last semester, guys. It's going to be fun. Don't try to kill each other this semester. We're gonna have a civilized debate, 4 minutes each. We're not gonna talk over each other. It's gonna be civilized. Okay, so Jackson, what is going to be the debate topic for this Twin Pick segment?
Can I get a drum roll? Your Twin Picks Season 5. First topic, National League MVP. Who is it?
We're going to start with MLB MVP. So
we're going to start with.
We got flip a coin.
No, we're going to start with Andrew since you won last season.
Oh, Steven said we were flipping.
We're going to flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's more fair. That's more fair.
All right. So what do you have? Heads or tails?
Oh, heads. Tails never fails, which is why I'm picking heads.
Suri, flip a coin.
I went against my own strategy.
All right, Chase. 4 minutes starting now.
Okay, so I think the answer is pretty simple. And he was actually my MVP pick last year, and I called it a reach because during his time in San Diego, he wasn't as explosive as people thought he was going to be. But then he hopped to the Yankees last year and had an incredible season, helped bring them to the World Series, helped almost win them a World Series thanks to the Dodgers. But now he's in New York, but he's not rocking the pinstripes anymore. He's rocking that disgusting orange and blue over at Citi Field for the New York Mets. I'm talking about Juan Soto, baby.
Juan Soto.
If you did your little shout out to the Dinger Dudes, I'm not going to do a plug, but if you saw our post on Dinger Dudes, if you have to follow,
Make sure to
I am
follow.
predicting an all New York MVP. I'm picking Aaron Judge in the AL and Juan Soto in the NL. This is going to be a prime year for New York. But let's talk about Juan Soto because look at the Mets this year. Look at the offseason they had, able to persuade Juan Soto to stay in New York, but to switch colors and to sign him to that insane contract deal that is going to pin him in New York for life. I'm going to be on meds when he leaves the Mets. And not only that, but they just now convinced Pete Alonso to stay when there was question about him leaving, allegedly. This is a Mets team that is primed to go back to the World Series possibly win the NL East, but I'm not talking about the Mets. I'm talking about specifically about Juan Soto. Now, I want to go back to a couple of years ago during his two-year stint in San Diego where people felt like he struggled a bit. He was still Juan Soto, but there was a lot of inconsistency issues. But when the last year in his time with the Yankees, those consistency issues were out the window. He was explosive with the bat, home run after home run. He had a pure, clean batting average. He was a huge asset for the New York Yankees, bringing them to the World Series, and he's going to be trying to do no different for the Mets. His fastball. I want to talk about him able to hit his fastball. During his time in San Diego, I'll keep referring to San Diego because I'm comparing what he once was to what he is now. During his time in San Diego, he kind of had a Matt Olson issue where he struggled to hit fastball. His fastball hit ratio was really bad with the Padres. Well, that fixed completely with the Yankees, and I expect he's going to ride that high, keep that momentum going, and you best not pitch a fastball his way because if you did, he is hitting it all the way back to Yankee Stadium from Citi Field. I plead my case. Juan Soto, you are my MVP.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was all off of the dome. He did not have anything prepared for that entire speech for Juan Soto, so that is a great performance from Chase. And now we go over to the older brother,
Andrew
the man, the
Harris.
legend, Andrew Jefferson, who is the NL MVP.
Now, to start my streak, to officially solidify myself as the Twin Pick MVP, the champion, I'm going to tell you why you're Juan. Why you're wrong, Juan. Okay, sorry. That's not the start of my. That's a pretty bad way to start my campaign. But let me, reverse this a little bit. Okay. So now the Ohtani, I think, would be relatively like the best opposing pick. But the reason why I'm straying away from Ohtani because now that he's making his first appearance on a mound after a year away from it, I feel like it's going to reflect his batting statistics in a little bit of a negative way. Not like so negative that he becomes unproductive, but not at MVP numbers. I think there's a guy on that Dodgers team that is going to be the sole leader for the National League MVP, and I think it's going to be Mookie Betts. Now, we've already seen Mookie Betts win an MVP award on the other league, the American side of the MLB for the Red Sox. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, when he was playing for the Red Sox, he was out in right field. Now, over in shortstop, we have seen more and more as his game has progressed, the utility aspects that this player carries. Now, defensively, it does really speak, does really hold a candle to why he's the MVP. So let me talk about what he does behind the plate. Now, this is a guy that I kind of see as having a Ronald Acuna 21 MVP kind of season for this upcoming year. Now, his production from the plate is absolutely incredible. You alluded to earlier how Juan Soto last year had trouble hitting those fastballs
in
high
San Diego,
inside.
not last year.
Okay, well, regardless, throughout his career, high inside fastballs has been one of Mookie Betts' prime pitches. If you look at his hot and cold zones in his personal strike zone, the inside fastball up high is like dark red because Mookie Betts is prone to getting up getting his barrel of the bat to those fastballs, and this is something, his anticipation at the plate is the sole reason why success comes from those kind of pitches. And the speed that he has when he gets to bases allows him to produce runs for his teammates, allowing him to get across the plate, getting those runs up. And stolen bases has been an increased number in not only the game of baseball, but players who share similar I don't know what's happening. Similar play styles like Mookie Betts. I mean, we've seen it with Ronald Acuna. Even Ohtani had 50 stolen bases the year prior. This is a guy like Mookie Betts that's once he gets on base, his game only gets worse. Okay, these are like, we're talking about this year though. These numbers are so insignificant.
I don't see this.
But regardless, they're pulling up side-by-side comparisons. Obviously, is leaning heavily towards Juan Soto, but it doesn't matter.
For a reason.
Mookie Betts is a guy that you can trust to get 30-plus home runs. If he gets on a streak, which he did, we saw him do it in July. If he gets on that summer streak and progresses past 40 and gets 50-plus stolen bases, we are talking about Ohtani numbers from a guy like Mookie Betts who has even more speed, even more utility, and he doesn't have that arcing weight on his shoulders that Ohtani's going to have when he's on the mound. So this is a guy that is free of all chains. He can go out there and play the best version of himself because the weight is off his shoulders. And think about the supporting cast that he has around him. That's only going to influence his game more and more. Mookie Betts is in the best possible position to win the MVP in the National League this year.
All right, so we have heard both sides of the argument. It's either Mookie Betts or it's Juan Soto. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off and give my pick, and then we're going to go ahead and go to Jackson. Okay. So I think both of you argued very well for your guys. I think both of them are going to have great seasons. What's so crazy is that you have both sides of the aisle of a player here, because Juan Soto, listen, man, there's a reason he's known as one of the best players in the game. Sure. This man is a hitter. This man is just a guy that'll battle at the plate, work out a walk if he needs to. And pitchers were scared of him. That's why he had such a high walk rate last season.
Absolutely. Gotta be strategic.
He
when
works a count. And he's just
fastball.
also, along with the time that he gets on base a lot, he's also a very big power guy. He can hit those 30-plus homers if he needs to. Now, Mookie Betts, on the other hand, he is a leader. Yep. This guy is a guy that can get on base. He is a guy that can get that clutch base hit when you need to, and he's a leadoff guy in that insane Dodgers lineup.
Exactly.
I mean, you have Freddie and Ohtani behind, in my opinion, again, one of the best hitters in the game and the best leaders in the game. Yep. Now, here's where my decision gets made here. Like, first off, I just want my bias in there. I think Ohtani's winning this, no problem. But
Same.
But if I'm looking at what I think is going to happen this year, I think that there's a lot of pressure that's taken off of Mookie. Not the same as the pressure that Juan Soto is going to face in that Mets lineup. Don't get me wrong.
Contract as well.
Francisco Lindor is in that lineup. That's going to take a lot off of him. And Pete Alonso, obviously, is going to have power in that lineup as well. But Juan Soto is really going to have to step up this year because he's getting paid the biggest contract in Major League Baseball. He's going to have to step up this year, and I think that he will. I have Juan Soto over Mookie Betts, so I am going with Chase.
I was sure you were going to play my direction. I was like, okay. That stepdaddy needle was like over here, then just shot over here.
So I want to give my biasness to, again, if you haven't gone and checked out Dinger Dudes, go check out Dinger Dudes. But I completely agree with Steven. I think Ohtani is going to go back-to-back NL MVP. But if I had to choose between Juan Soto and Mookie Betts, again, Mookie Betts, he is a guy who can consistently hit those 30-plus homers when he has a full healthy season. Last season, he only played 116 games, 19 homers. His projections right now, though, are 24 homers, 73 RBIs, with a Juan Soto being 31 homers, 86 RBIs. And everybody's like, well, Juan Soto might need to change his scenery after leaving New York. You know, he changed scenery just down the street to Citi Field.
He walked across the street.
He just took the subway. He took the metro over. It doesn't really matter. But if I had to choose between Mookie Betts and Juan Soto, the contract has to speak for itself. I'm going to go Juan Soto.
All right.
I'm going to go Juan Soto.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first Twin picks of Season 5 and the last season for the Twins here on Out of Pocket,
that's right.
Chase takes the first win. It's going to be a long season. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be a season-long challenge here, and we've got a lot more debates coming for this season. So y'all are going to want to tune in for all of them. With all of that being said, let's get into some music, and we will be right back.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York, and you're listening to my dudes from the Sports Out of Pocket on the Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, do you want to be part of Wolf Sports Network?
Yeah!
Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us.
Woohoo!
So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through the WIT program right now.
Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports.
I'm feeling great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us. Well, first we were a podcast to Wolf Sports Network's newest podcast. Then we turned into a live show.
Welcome back to episode 2 of the Triple Threat live show.
And this semester is our final ride. But don't worry, we're not going to stop with the action. From our debates and triple play and the best snake drops across the nation.
Dude, that's everybody's
Guess who's going first as my tight end? Brock Bowers. No! You don't want to miss out, so tune in every Friday from 11 to 12 only on Wolf Sports Network.
Over the horizon, a new show rises over Wolf Sports Network. To bring light to all things college sports. The Playbook, 6 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Wolf Sports Network is content heaven for a sports fan, but their show Sports Pack is my personal favorite. Sports Pack airs on Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network, filled with fresh personalities, funny moments, and piping hot takes, along with call-ins that allow listeners to get in on the action. Check out Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That's wolfradio.com/bookdrive. College students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times per week, Jackson, shut up, were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of drinking. That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network and Wolf's Radio Drink Responsibly campaign to remind students drinking should be done responsibly and in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty won't take hangovers as excuses. No, they won't. Is that Jackson?
That's crazy. Yeah. Don't be a prick, man.
All right. All right, so obviously we're going to get into our next segment here, the game of the weekend. Come on, what else are we going to be talking about when it comes to game of the week? Then obviously what happened this past Sunday with the Eagles and the Chiefs. And, okay, so here's the thing. What was the main driving force of the Eagles just dominating the Chiefs in this game? I got mine. It was a line of scrimmage. It was a defense. It was unbelievable. Those Georgia boys got after Patrick Mahomes. And also, if it wasn't just for the Georgia boys, also they had a secondary, Cooper DeJean getting that pick six that really turned the tide in that game.
Lock down your number one.
And that's not an original, by the way. You took that from a song.
I know.
So, Twins, what do you think what went wrong for the Chiefs in this game?
You know what? And I thought it was very interesting. Saquon really had no effect in this game. But, I mean, it's what you said, Steven. I mean, watching Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense run, every time the ball was snapped, Patrick Mahomes was immediately pressured. But I got to hand it to the Eagles secondary. You know, I was very shaky of them on the start of the year, but especially in the Super Bowl, they limited all of his options. The only option Patrick Mahomes had reliably was the check down, but he was pressured so much he couldn't even get a good throw off. Shout out to my boy Josh Sweat on the Eagles. Florida State boy had a monster of a Super Bowl, but so did the rest of the Eagles D-line, and that's just where they dominate. I mean, when the Eagles had the ball, you didn't see that type of pressure, but you saw it all the time with Patrick Mahomes having to scramble, make some kind of magic happen, and when he did make magic happen, there was a lot of holding calls that were called that brought the ball right back, and that's what fell apart. I mean, you're exactly right, Steve, and that's exactly where it went wrong.
Now, I do have to give flowers to Saquon Barkley because though he finished with just 57 yards, he did break Terrell Davis's record for yards in a rushing season, with playoffs included, obviously. But yes, the Chiefs' game plan was executed to perfection. And that's such the weird thing about the Super Bowl is that they came into the game knowing what got the Eagles to the NFC Championship ultimately, and that was the power back they had in Saquon Barkley. Because you pair Saquon Barkley with such a dominant, the biggest offensive line in the history of the NFL.
Their average height is 6'7".
They're monsters. They're freak of natures.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs found a way to contain Saquon in the backfield. But what they failed to contain was what Jalen Hurts was keeping in his back pocket the entire season and attack through the air. Now, the most interesting thing to me is Patrick Mahomes was 8-0 against Fangio's defense before, of course, the longtime coordinator and the former Broncos head coach was out coach Andy Reid. But yeah, he was 8-0 going to his matchup against Fangio's defense. Now, the Eagles sacked Mahomes 6 times, which is the most he's ever been sacked his entire career, including 2.5 sacks by Josh Sweat. And they did it without Fangio ever calling a blitz play. That is incredible. That shows how dominant this defensive line was.
I also want to give credit, again, you said the secondary, and also guys like Zach Bond, who had, I believe, 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. And then you have Cooper DeJean, who had that fantastic pick 6. Again, Cooper DeJean is not a safety. He's just a corner who walked in. Anyways,
calm down.
You know, that defense was really the driving force. The Chiefs really wanted to focus on that Eagles run game. They seemed to limit that, but forgot about everything else. So, you know, what do you think genuinely went wrong with the Chiefs?
Well, what went wrong was the fact that, yeah, you're exactly right. They were able to stop Saquon up the middle, and they were able to contain him when he was trying to, run outside and be able to try and get by the defensive line. They had the run game stopped. But the thing is, they were just completely clueless with how Jalen Hurts was going to attack through the air. We saw that I can't remember which receiver that he threw it to. It was Devontae Smith.
Yep.
That 50-yard throw to Devontae Smith.
Oh, the one that Andrew called?
It was unbelievable. It was like you saw the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs on the sideline just throwing his arms up.
Yep.
Just like that was at that point he had no idea what the Eagles were thinking in that moment and what plays were going on. He didn't have an answer, and we saw that in the score. What was it? It was 34-0 at one.
Yeah, it made it 34-0.
It was unbelievable. They had no answers, and Jalen Hurts was just able to completely ball out. And again, the first game he had against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl was great.
Yeah.
And this one just solidified how good of a quarterback he actually is.
And I remember watching the Chiefs defensive coordinator, we were making a joke, my family, because they showed him on the sideline at one point, and he was just flipping through his defensive playbook, and it's like he was struggling just to find something that worked, because anything he called, the Eagles had an answer for.
Now, I do want to flip it over really quick because it is Game of the League. There's something going on in the sports world this upcoming weekend. It actually starts today, and nobody is talking about it. And it is probably one of the most exciting things in all of sports. It is the Four Nations Face-Off. There is a particular matchup coming on this Saturday. It is replacing the NHL All-Star format, which Schrader said it on Sports Pack back on Monday, and he's absolutely right. The NBA needs to take notes. You want to fix the All-Star controversy? Do what the NHL is doing right now. This is the USA and Canada, one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports.
My bum of the week, Canada.
It's not just advancing in the tournament, it's the bragging rights on the international stage. Now, USA over the years has closed the gap on Canada's hockey team, but they can prove it at the level of the Four Nations Face-Off, which is drawing all of the best hockey players from around the world into their own United Nations. So, these aren't just all-star level. These are you send these teams to the Olympics. That's the kind of rosters they're putting up in the Four Nations Face-Off. Canada's superstars, Connor McDavid, Nathan McCann, Sidney Crosby, and the USA's response with Austin
Philip
Matthews,
Forsberg
Jack Hughes, Matthew
Sweden.
Tubeck. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. If you have nothing to do on Saturday night, because trust me, the NBA All-Stars is not going to be a watch, turn on the USA and Canada game this Saturday. It is going to be a world of fun. Cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I can tell you this: I'd rather watch that than the NBA All-Star Week because there is absolutely nothing.
Outside of maybe the 3-point contest.
I could give a crap, dude.
I'm
so done. Maybe the 3-point contest, yeah, but I'm not going to tune into the dunk contest, and I'm sure as heck not going to turn into no NBA All-Star game. It's just not going to happen. I don't care if there are 3 teams in the tournament. I don't care. Don't care. Take a step out. I don't want to watch it. All right, it's time to pick our rosters.
This is Roster Roulette.
All right, so this is one of our brand new segments here on Sports Out of Pocket where we take 3 players from any sport. It could be MLB, NBA, it could be college. It doesn't matter. We take 3 players that we believe can be debated through, that have amazing stats that we have to start, bench, and cut. So, Andrew, what do you got?
Now, okay, so Chase has a very interesting one, so I'm glad we're saving his for last. But to start things off on Roster Roulette, throw it back to college football. We did Heisman-winning running backs 2 weeks ago, and I think it sparked a very interesting debate. So I went to the quarterback categories of all the Heisman winners and picked out 3 dual-threat quarterbacks, all with similar play styles, who put up some of the most profound Heisman seasons of the recently. I didn't go way back. I kept it within the 2010 to the modern era. So starting off the list, we got 2011 RG3 season with the Baylor Bears, 2018 Kyler Murray season with the Oklahoma Sooners, and then 2021 Bryce Young quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. You see the stats on the screen right now. I'm going to let you boys debate, and then I'll give you my picks.
5,000 yards passing. Seriously?
These are all phenomenal seasons. And don't take wins into account, because I know you're going to be like, oh, Alabama got to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So don't take wins into account. Just individualized seasons, I want you to base it on that.
It's so tough going on against regular season wins because, come on, let's be honest, a lot of those stats have to do with the teams that they played during the
No,
season.
I'm glad you brought that up because Baylor did have a very, very tough conference schedule because the Big 12 in 2011 was freaking incredible.
It was.
Oklahoma State was fighting for a chance at the Natty.
Kansas was really good that year.
really good. Kansas State was really
Iowa
good.
State was really good.
These were all like top 20 teams. So don't think Baylor had an easy path because they had and they knocked off Oklahoma, who was ranked in the top 10 at the time. So RG3 did put together some incredible wins.
Yeah, if you're just basing it off of stats like that I'm looking at on the screen, Bryce Young had an unbelievable season in 2021. Problem is he ran into them dogs. He ran into them dogs in a national championship.
They're everywhere.
He was
man.
able to. Don't get me wrong. In the SEC championship, he had us absolutely dotted. He was doing unbelievable things, being able to get to the national championship, and we were just able to. Eke out a win against Alabama in the national championship that year. So I remember how great Bryce Young was during that season. And the same thing, Kyler Murray. Oh, my goodness. In college, he was just an unstoppable force with the Oklahoma Sooners. And I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about that Baylor year because in 2011, Mr. Steven was not that paying attention to college football.
About 13.
Dude, just look up his Heisman reel from 2011. It's some of the best
Steven's
plays you'll
Heisman
ever
reel?
see. Yeah, Steven, dude. See the slammer in 2011?
Yeah, just look at my highlights from the flag football games we have for this game. I was dotting those receivers up, bro. The defense had no shot. But yeah, this is actually a really tough choice.
It is tough.
It's a tough choice. So I'm going to go ahead and based off of success, I'm going to go ahead. I will start, out of all of these guys, you know what? Strength. And his arm, and just how good he actually is, I'll go Baylor. I'll have him either starting or benching. I think I'm going to start Bryce Young.
Okay.
I'm going to start Bryce Young. I'm going to bench Baylor, and then I'm going to cut Kyler Murray.
So you're cutting RG3?
No, he's cutting Kyler Murray.
You're benching RG3?
Benching RG3.
I'm actually going to disagree a little bit, Steven. I agree with starting Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I think absolutely his receiving core that year was insane. It's a reason he has the most passing yards by at least 400 out of anyone on that board. But next, I actually want to go Kyler Murray over RG3. RG3 had the better arm, yes, but Kyler Murray, especially that 2018 season, was almost like a Lamarix Jackson player, just with a better arm. Lamar-isk. I said Lamar. I try to say like Lamar-isk player. But the way he was able to escape a pocket and make plays from his feet, turn nothing into something, was unreal. He was a magician in that pocket for Oklahoma. Pair it with 42 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. 4,361 passing yards, and of course it led him to a great season and a not good playoff run, but they made the playoffs with Oklahoma. So I'm gonna have to unfortunately cut RG3. No disrespect.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Dare you?
ESPN already did that. You don't have to do it too.
I love you, RG3.
All right.
I want to give my quick thoughts on this. I'm looking at this again. I am going to start Bryce Young. I'm going to bench. It's really close between RG3 and Kyler Murray's season. You didn't say Kyler Murray. They made the playoffs, but then they ran into that 2018 Alabama team.
Yep,
and
got killed.
Still put up 30 points, 30 plus
it
points.
It wasn't a good game.
It just was not a good game for Oklahoma. Again, loved Kyler Murray. And then RG3, Baylor Bears, again, he was like neck and neck with Andrew Luck heading into those few couple seasons. So again, start Bryce Young. I'm gonna bench Kyler, and then I'm gonna cut RG3.
So mine is a little different. Kyler, one thing that those stats don't show is that Kyler Murray had 892 rush yards and 11 rushing touchdowns. So he actually had 50-plus total touchdowns. So I'm starting Kyler, benching Bryce,
That's
cutting
actually
RG3.
fair. That's a
but
fair
Chase,
point.
I want to get into yours.
All right, I wanted to leave a little time for mine because this last one I'm going to have to explain a little bit because y'all probably don't know the situation. But y'all obviously know. Oh, so by the way, I'm sorry. Imagine you are building a roster out of the referees that made some of the worst calls in sports history. So I want you to start the guy you think made the worst call, bench the guy with the second worst, and cut the guy with the one that didn't.
So if I want the worst officiating crew, you're building the worst officiating crew possible.
You showed us the list before the show went on air, and I know Jim Joyce's call.
Jim Joyce.
I know Jim Joyce's call. I don't know the other two, so can you explain what the two calls
Jim
were.
Joyce, obviously.
Jim Galarraga.
Ruined his perfect game, which would
Yep.
have been the 21st player to have a perfect game. Instead, it was just a one-pitch shutout. Called Jason Donald was a player for the Indians. Called him safe at first. Ruined the perfect game. We all know about it. Bill Vinovich was the referee that decided not to throw a flag on the PI during the Saints and Rams NFC Championship game. He is the one that decided it was not a PI, and he kept the flag in the pocket. The guy in the center, that is Eric Furlot. He's known for one of the most controversial calls in AHL history. Let me break this down for you really quick.
This one's wild. He told me before the show.
A couple of years ago, the Sharks and the Golden Knights were in Game 7 of a playoff series. The Sharks were down 3-0 in that game with time running down. It was the third period. There was about half the third period already gone. There was like 10 minutes left. They were down 3-0. A guy on the Golden Knights named Ika, and he cross-checked the Sharks captain at the time, Joe Pavlisky, after a face-off. Cross-checking, that's a minor penalty. You go to the box for 2 minutes. But what happened was the captain, Pavlisky, tripped over another Vegas player, and he was knocked unconscious. So it was cross-checked. He tripped over another player, knocked unconscious. So there's no penalty given at the time. They end up reviewing it, and they said that Eakin was the sole reason he got knocked out. Even though, so what happened was they called this a 5-minute major power play or a penalty. What happens then is the other team is on a power play for 5 minutes, no matter what. Even if a goal is scored, it's still a power play. It's over when the 5 minutes is done. But they called it a major, saying it was his fault that the guy tripped over the other player and got knocked unconscious. So of course, Las Vegas losing their mind. You might think, well, they're up 3-0. It's not a big deal. The Sharks scored 4 goals in 5 minutes and won the game 4-3, eliminating the Golden Knights from the playoffs. Still one of the most controversial calls in sports history. I want to leave it to y'all.
Man,
what do y'all think?
So this is very interesting because
This is tough.
and I'll tell you why. Like I kind of have my list in my head, and I'll tell you why that I'm going to go ahead and put the list that I have. I'm going to have the NFL. Can you pull the referees back up?
So we can get the names because I forgot Bill Vinovich.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and have Bill Vinovich as my number one because, dude, the Saints had a chance to making the Super Bowl that year, and because of that call specifically, that ruined their entire chances at happening, and it was so blatant. Me as a Falcons fan, I saw that play. It was so blatant that it wasn't even it wasn't even close. And I'm going to put Eric Furlat second, and then I'm going to put Jim Joyce, and I'm going to cut Jim Joyce because 2 of these plays are playoff implications. They're in the playoffs. These are teams that got screwed over by terrible calls that cost them a chance at getting a championship. So that's why I'm going to have Bill Vinovich starting, Eric Furlat bench, and Jim Joyce cut.
What y'all think?
When I'm looking at this again, I'm familiar. Again, I've seen the Bill Vinovich and I've seen the Jim Joyce. Again, not too familiar with the Eric Furlat, but now getting the implications on that situation and that they are both, as what he says, like playoff determining calls. Honestly, I think that Saints team that year had a better chance than that Rams team to beat the Patriots that season, and that was one of Drew Brees' best teams.
Yeah.
That was one of Drew Brees' best teams. He had prime Michael Thomas. He had Offensive Player of the Year Michael Thomas. He had rising star in Alvin Kamara, had the best O-line in the league at the time. A fantastic defense when you have a not old Saints defense. So honestly, I'm probably going to have to put Bill Vinovich at I'm going to start Bill Vinovich. The 2, again, Andres Galarraga, there's many other perfect games, many other no-hit, all that.
But dude, that really does suck for him because that was before replay.
Before replay.
And wasn't it sad, by the way, the next game Jim Joyce came out, they all gave him a standing ovation. But he was in tears because he knew he just ruined history.
Yeah. But bench Eric Furlat.
And then cut Jim Joyce.
Okay, so mine is actually different. Y'all are going to disagree with me a little bit. I am actually going to start Eric Furlat because now I'm going to get to why I'm starting Eric Furlat because it is playoff implications. It was a penalty that, quite frankly, cut Las Vegas from the playoffs. Get the names back up. I'm going to Bill Vinovich. I'm going to bench Jim Joyce and cut
What?
Bill Vinovich, because though it was a blatant pass interference call, many people forget that pass interference call didn't lead to anything. That the Saints still missed a field goal from inside 40. The game went into overtime, and they still had their chance to rebound. So I don't view that play as the reason the Saints lost, as I do the other two. And Jim Joyce ruining a perfect game, it strikes a chord. I hate that. Absolutely hate that. So I'm actually going to cut the Saints call.
Yeah, but didn't that ruin their drive? Wasn't it like a fourth down?
If they still miss a kick inside 40, that's kind of on you.
If it was called PI, the field goal would have been a chip shot.
Yeah, but I mean, still, you miss it inside 40, you're an NFL kicker, just get better.
I see what you're saying, then.
Yeah. I mean, we know about bad kickers.
Yeah.
All right, so...
That's how
what was that?
I was trying to mimic his laugh.
Yeah, because that's how I laughed
That's
on
exactly
that one.
how he
Sure.
laughed.
Sure, buddy.
Replay it, John.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Yeah, we're going to have to make that into a little soundbite. Every
All
time
right.
Jackson says something stupid.
We're
going to
take a few seconds to, get over that and show some love to the other shows. And we're going to be right back and get fired up because Jackson's team won the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
This is the Philly Sports Guy, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket on Wolf Sports Network.
Hey, do you want to be part of Wolf Sports Network?
Yeah!
Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us.
Woohoo!
So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Fan.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us. Well, first we were a podcast to Wolf Sports Network's newest podcast. Then we turned into a live show.
Welcome back to episode 2 of the Triple Threat live show.
And this semester is our final ride. But don't worry, we're not going to stop with the action. From our debates and triple play and the best snake drops across the nation.
Dude, that's everybody's
Guess who's going first as my tight end? Brock Bowers. You don't want to miss out, so tune in every Friday from 11 to 12 only on Wolf Sports Network.
Over the horizon, a new show rises over Wolf Sports Network. To bring light to all things college sports. The Playbook, 6 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Wolf Sports Network is content heaven for a sports fan, but their show Sports Pack is my personal favorite. Sports Pack airs on Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network, filled with fresh personalities, funny moments, and piping hot takes, along with call-ins that allow listeners to get in on the action. Check out Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That's wolfradio.com/bookdrive. In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign, reminding you that there is no drinking under the age of 21. Never drink and drive even if it's one beer. And add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits.
Andrew.
Excuse you?
What is happening right now?
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
Fire me up. I'm 2 seconds away from muting your mic for the rest of the show, man. That's over, bro.
What are you doing, Jackson?
All right, so, we got to get...
You gotta get fired up.
Here and get fired up about the fact that we were all wrong. We were all completely wrong about how we thought the Super Bowl was going to go. The Chiefs not only did not win that game, like we've said throughout this entire episode and the show, is the fact that they got killed. The final score was 40-22, and that does not tell you the entire story of how that game went. No, the Chiefs got killed. Chiefs got absolutely embarrassed in this game. And let me tell you, it was just a terrible viewing experience around because before we get off the show, I want to tell let me just delve into something real quick. What was up with some of these commercials? I thought some of the commercials were great. I thought like the sloth one was fantastic. I thought all of the celebrity ones really hit. But the Coffee Mate one?
That's
disgusting.
Did you see the Michelob Ultra one with Willem Dafoe?
That was awesome.
That was one of my favorites.
And you're forgetting another one.
Martha Stewart.
Oh no! I'm not gonna bring that one up. But I think we know why Andrew liked that one.
The Condre one.
I don't.
But also,
the Condre one.
There was two ones that I thought were disgusting. It was the Coffee Mate one with the dancing tongue, but also
nasty.
the skin cowboy hat one.
Oh, the very end of the
Tubi. It was a Tubi commercial.
What is going on, bro? Like, do the directors just think that those are just like, hey, it's attention grabbing? No, it grosses me out. I don't want to ever drink Coffee Mate again.
The Kanye West one was insane.
According to you.
Condre.
Okay, but what he was selling, I don't know if y'all guys got the chance to go on Yeezy.com and see what he was selling during the Super Bowl. It just... Okay, you know what?
Let's not talk. Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it.
If y'all want to find out what's going on that website, I mean, take a look for yourselves and and find out what's happening there. Because
do you want to know what I miss? Do you want to know what I miss about Super Bowl commercials? Do y'all remember the baby in the slingshot with the Doritos?
Yes.
And then the little kid in the Star Wars with the Volkswagen. That's what I miss, bro.
Okay, hold on.
I'm tired. I don't want to see.
We're acting like the commercials were bad.
No, they're not.
There were some really good ones.
80% of them were great.
Like the Doritos commercial, the fan-made commercial with the little sci-fi
alien
thing. He was getting tossed in the room. That was great. That was fantastic.
I just miss those kind of commercials.
I mean, we had some sad ones in there. I honestly thought that the Rocket Mortgage one was really good. It was great.
Roads.
Yeah, the fact that I'm like, oh, cool, they're all enjoying their house, something that I'm not going to be able to do for the next 2 decades. Good for you guys, though. Yeah. Good for you guys. It makes me cry, not for a different reason. Yeah. But okay, let's get back into what happened in the game. We talked about it a little bit before, but Jackson, just get it out of your system, man. Just get it out of your system.
Dude.
The Eagles, you told us all season that they were one of the best teams.
I did.
Nice Eagles jersey, by the way.
They won the championship. They did.
I'm not wearing it. I was running a little late today.
Were you wearing your Broncos jersey?
I was running a little late today. Anyways.
Raiders gear.
But
honestly, Cardinals jersey.
For the first time in 3 years, the past 3 years, I've not been able to watch it with my dad, and my dad is the reason why I'm a big Eagles fan. He grew up an Eagles fan. He grew up with guys like Steve Van Buren, Norm Van Brocklin, guys like Chris Carter, Harold Carmichael.
Just call him old.
He's in his 50s. Shout out
Mr. Voles
if he's watching right now. But honestly, that's the most I've seen him actually jump up and move around in years, bro.
What's that supposed to mean?
He's old.
He's old. Older. He's up there in age.
You're not old, Mr. Voles. Come on.
He's up there in age, but honestly, it was great to watch it with him.
He's a spry young man.
It was a great Super Bowl. That's all I got to say. And what I got to see and what I didn't get to see was Taylor Swift not celebrate on that field.
You know what, Jackson?
Honestly,
I got to be honest, man. I have to agree. And what was also crazy, and we didn't talk about this, Taylor Swift actually got shown on the big screen in the stadium at the Super Bowl. And got
Voles is a fake fan, confirmed. Joey Prater. Well, actually, I want to shout out Joey. I actually want to shout out Joey Prater.
Joey, dude.
We love you, Joey.
Absolute sidekick. He was the only one out of everybody that had predictions in the station that said the Eagles were going to blow out the Chiefs. And we all clowned him for it. We all said that, Joey, come on. This is going to be a very close
Shout
game.
out to Joey Prater.
And he was exactly right, man. The Chiefs got killed. And listen, Jackson, I'm going to completely agree with you because, listen, I didn't want the Eagles to win just because you. Okay. You've made me an Eagles hater for life. And I also didn't want the Eagles, either way, it didn't matter if they were going to lose or win. The Philadelphia was going to burn to the ground that night. It didn't matter what was going to happen because Eagles Nation, fly, Eagles fly. I didn't want to see more than anything to watch Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift in the middle of the field, just the kissing and the possible proposal and all that. Okay, Jackson, hush. We have all of this. The Taylor Swift and the Travis Kelce. I mean, I think the reason that she got booed is not because of her as a character. I mean, people you can hate her music, you can love her music. I think it's just the fact that NFL has been and it's not her fault.
It's not.
It's not her fault. They have just been showing her day in and day out, and it's great for the Swifties. I'm happy for y'all. I'm glad y'all have a reason to watch the games, but it's just it just gets tiring for people that have watched the NFL. Before the Taylor Swift stuff happened.
I love her reaction, too. She gave a little side eye. She was like, what's going on? I wonder what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, you're happening. You're on the screen. What was that? Look what's going on.
I have to say, Travis Kelce did not complete a pass. Oh, he did not receive a pass
until the third quarter.
Deep into the third quarter. This is what sent me through the roof with Travis Kelce. He was out there, and they had a three-peat. We're talking about Super Bowl history on the line, and he was out there like he did not care. There was a play in the second quarter where the Eagles' defensive line, like per usual, broke through the O-line on a non-blitz play. Patrick Mahomes was scrambling around the right side of the field trying to find some receiver downfield or some gap to make a play. And the whole time, Travis Kelce is standing at midfield with his arms down, arms waving, looking at Andy Reid like, what's going on? You got to make a block. You've got to help extend the play. You are a veteran at this sport, and he's defeated. I hated to see it.
Also, if you listen to his post-game conference, he was talking about how he did not carry himself as a leader whatsoever on the sidelines. He wasn't trying to motivate his guys when they were down. He was just sitting on the bench with his head hanging down, knowing that where the game was going. He didn't show leadership skills in that moment. He just
disgraceful.
In a sense, he became a child.
Yep.
He became a kid in that moment and was just throwing a tantrum at the fact that they weren't going to be three-time champions.
Yep.
And I will commend Patrick Mahomes on this. Patrick Mahomes, he was the bigger man in this case.
Yeah.
Like he went up there, shook his hand, gave Jalen Hurts his flowers, and he took the brunt. He was like, "Hey, look, I got to play better. If we want to be three-peat champions, we got to play like champions." And we didn't do that today. I did not play like a championship quarterback, and I do respect him on that front.
There's only one thing I didn't like about this Super Bowl. Every time we go to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl, we lose a coordinator. So I want to thank Kellen Moore for his duties as offensive coordinator this season. Very well deserving. Honestly, he should have gotten the Cowboys head coach job after Garrett got fired. But Kellen Moore, thank you so much. And
I don't know what I don't think he knows what he's getting himself into with his Saints team.
No, I do want to say let's stop joking around. Let's stop acting like that because the Chiefs got blown out in the Super Bowl. This hurts Patrick Mahomes' GOAT legacy. Let's stop.
It's a bad conversation.
I see it everywhere. Let's stop. Let's stop.
Listen,
stop.
I think Mahomes. Listen, and speaking Mahomes is still top 5 quarterback all time. What he's done in the career, he's incredible.
He's top 3.
But until his career is over, we've got to stop comparing him to Tom Brady.
But also, he's not done. This is not going to be the last time.
Yeah.
He's not even 30.
He'll be back.
He's not even 30. He'll be back.
Chiefs ain't going anywhere.
Yep.
Absolutely not. Okay, well, that is it for the Super Bowl reaction, and that is also it for Sports Out of Pocket. Make sure you guys are tuning in tomorrow for Sports Pack. They're on every Mondays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock, and then on Friday, get a snack. Let's have a chill day. On Friday, Triple Threat, they're bringing you the incredible chill content. And also, guys, make sure y'all are staying tuned because we have a brand new show coming to Wolf Sports Network on Tuesdays at what time, Jackson?
6 p.m. featuring me,
you just ruined
JT
everything.
Groves, Aiden Abe, Brandon Dyer. We put a lot of hard work into
brand
the show.
new guys. Make sure y'all
stay tuned for that.
sure y'all give them the same support that y'all are showing us. And with all of that being said, we appreciate everybody that tuned in today. And we are going to be back here next Wednesday at 5 o'clock and all throughout this semester because, come on, it's out of pocket, baby.
Right.
Out of pocket, baby. So with that being said, we're going to see you all next week.